So welcome everybody to the Writer's Bridge. I'm Allison K. Williams. I'm the author of 7 Drafts. With me is the amazing Ashley Renard, who is the author of the extremely successful memoir Swing, and who also works as a social media coach for many writers. We are here to welcome you to the Writer's Bridge. And like we always say, we call it a bridge because a platform is a thing that you get up on and yell at people from. And a bridge is a two-way street where you talk to your readers and your readers talk to you. Right now, we've got a couple of exciting things going on before we dive into our main stuff. Ashley, you are opening up members only content. How's that going? What's happening? Why do we want to know this?
Yes. Okay. Well, I am trying to figure out new ways that writers can monetize their platform in addition to selling books. Selling books is great. My book is selling well. But a writer has to do a lot of other things, whether it's public speaking, whether it's selling courses, memberships, to make a full-time income and a luxurious income in this gig. So trying to figure out different ways to do that. Come to my website, sign up for my email list to get updates on how I'm running my members only, because a lot of the structure and logistics around it, I think, is replicable and scalable for other people's platforms as well.
I'm currently teaching a developmental editing webinar, basically how to be a developmental editor. Really enjoying that. Quite a few of you here are in that class and we're having a great time. All the episodes are recorded, so if that's something you're considering, you can sign up anyway. We have, our standard reminder, which is we always cover a lot. So do plan to watch the video again, even if you are here live, because we know you'll get more out of it. Our question of the week is from Wendy. How might I add teaching or coaching to my platform? And the biggest thing is, what are you an expert in? Find your niche, find the one that suits you. So Allison Lane does a lot with coaching people through publicity. Stephanie Weaver coaches people in public speaking. If you've ever wanted to do a TED Talk, Stephanie is your girl. Whatever you in particular are an expert in, that can be your niche to start teaching or coaching how people can do what it is that you do or what it is that you are an expert in. For coaching, it really helps to display your expertise wherever your audience hangs out. So whether that is blogging, but not for your own blog, for a blog with a bigger audience of people who don't already know you, writing articles for mass media that are not pitching your services, but that are showing your expertise. So if I wanted to generate new editing clients for my editing business, I would not write a piece for the Brevity blog about, hey, I'm an editor and this is what it costs and this is how you get in touch with me. I might instead write a blog about, here are 3 key things that you need to know about editing your work that you can use as a service to your work right now, today. You've got a takeaway, you got something for free. And something that if you try it, you go, oh, maybe Allison knows what she's talking about. I would like to find out more about her work. And this is a long, slow building process. And for teaching in particular, look for co-hosts when you first start, because they will share their mailing lists and audience, not necessarily giving you all those email addresses, but they will send your class to their mailing list, and that helps build your audience. Some of my very best partnerships have been with Jane Friedman and with Creative Nonfiction Magazine. Both of them have mailing lists that are much larger than what I can reach on my own. Ashley, how have you gotten into teaching and coaching? What has been the most helpful?
Now, I think for most of us, we are, for most of our lives, unaware of our superpowers. So to figure out, wait, what do I have to offer that I can charge people for? Start with the advice that you freely and generously and easily give in Facebook writers groups, or if you're in an in-person writers group, or friends who DM you and say, hey, I have this question and this question. Look at what people already come to you for, and what kind of questions pop up in your Facebook groups or on your timeline that you go, oh, I know the answer to that you can just so easily just rattle it off. Those are the things that quite possibly you have assimilated better than other people in the field and can offer a unique take on it for others.
There are some great places that co-host and that you can pitch. Hey, I'd like to teach a webinar to. Jane Friedman takes pitches. Creative Nonfiction Magazine, if your pitch is specific to nonfiction. Lounge Writers is often looking for class teachers. Diablo Writers may be looking for teachers. Grub Street and Loft Literary Center. And I will type those into the chat as well if you would like to look those up at your leisure. Meredith says, Ashley, advice in general or specific to writing, specific to what you've got to teach?
Yep. So I wrote advice specific to life. So I was really unhappy in my marriage, made so many changes in my relationship to myself that then helped to transform my relationship with my husband. That's the kind of stuff I share in little tidbits and funny little sound bites on social media. So what I'm opening up for my members only is relationship and parenting advice. But what I'm teaching in courses or in one-on-one coaching is how to build social media using your unique story to attract your perfect audience. So there are different ways to do it, you know, from the building the business to just offering that support. Like if you've had trouble with mental illness or addiction, you know, walking people through the kinds of things that you've done to really help yourself get grounded and come through that.
And just one last thing on this before we move into our main topic for the evening. Mark asks, does this strategy work for fiction authors? This strategy works for anyone who wants to be a teacher or a coach. It is not so much about promoting your book, although that will be a side benefit. It's about promoting services if you're attempting to sell services, if you're attempting to make that jump from writer to teacher. So Ashley, will you start us off? You are the queen of video. Ashley has used consistent posting of video to drive her social media presence and the sales of her book. She is now, I think we can safely say, big on TikTok, as well as growing her Instagram presence with video. And yet, we do not all have to be doing videos about hot monogamy. We do not all have to be doing videos about bedroom electronics. We do not all have to be as physically beautiful as Ashley, who is very physically beautiful according to traditional standards. We can still use video in amazing ways to promote our work, to promote our books, to promote our essays, to promote us as people who our readers would like to bond with and hear more from.
Thank you for that wonderful intro, Allison. Okay, so we're talking about using video, find our audience, sell our books. Let's add on to this. Besides selling our books, we're going to sell our memberships. We're going to sell our courses. We are going to get more email addresses on our mailing list. We are just going to bring people towards us. Okay. Today we're going to talk about why videos work differently and in some cases much better than static images. We're going to talk about what happens when we jump on trends that are on TikTok or Instagram and how we can make an engaging video regardless of our topic. Like my sexy videos do well, but those aren't the only videos that we can make, okay? Also, recording, editing, captioning can be a huge pain in the ass and something that trips people up and they say, damn video, never will I ever. Okay, so we can figure that out. Also, we're gonna talk about the 5 types of video that are not face to camera. And because face to camera does do the best, some tricks for getting more comfortable in front of the screen. Okay, so why videos work. Now, this isn't the algorithm that we had in 2019 where social media was engineered to share our things, pictures of our pet or kid's birthday, with friends we have in real life who we were connected with on social media. Okay, now what social media has evolved into very quickly is a place for businesses to reach their audience. Now, as writers, we are in the business of telling stories and in the business of sharing stories. So what we want to find is our audience. We want to find our potential readers. The reason why video is so great for these platforms that have convinced us to spend most of our free time on them is that video provides an exact metric that a written content cannot. When someone is scrolling, when the eyeball stops somewhere, the phone doesn't know for sure if, you know, the person's distracted by the bird out the window or looking at another screen that's in their hand. But video, they don't know exactly how much of that content has been consumed or read. Video has the exact number of seconds that people watch it. When they swipe away, the percentage of people who watch to the end, the percentage of people who watch on mute, and who turn the volume on. So the numbers that they're able to collect from video are much more robust than with still images or written content. This rule is anecdotal, but something I have seen. I have about 170 videos posted on Instagram and TikTok over the past 13 months. What I have found is that if I can make something interesting enough that 50% of the people who have it come up on their page watch until the end, the video will reach millions of people. It will probably have 3 or 4 million views. Okay, if I can make something that just 25% of people will watch to the end, I'm probably going to be in the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. Okay, so we're talking about the number of people, and most of these people, 90% of these people, were not following me to begin with. So every time you post video, you have the potential to reach people who have never, ever heard of you. And this is a good thing because we all know that friends and family are some of the worst people for actually buying our book. Okay.
Sad but true.
Sad but true. And it's like, okay, you know what? Let's try to find customers elsewhere rather than within this circle, our current social circles. Okay. I often get the question from people, or, you know, I'm told the fear that people are worried that their topic does not translate to video. I'm wondering if you've ever heard of Modern Love. I think that any story that is worth being told can be told in a multitude of mediums. And I wouldn't even necessarily say that one medium is better than another for storytelling. It depends on the audience. Some people will love reading the book. Some people will get the most excited when that book is made into a Broadway play. Some people just want to listen to the podcasts with the author. Okay, so there are so many different ways to tell a story. We do not all have to do selfie video. There are a lot of ways that we can tell our story in a different way. Okay, if you read The Crane Wife by C.J. Hauser, could you just type a 1 in the chat? This came out in Paris Review, July 2019, one of my favorite essays ever. So I took The Crane Wife and I said, okay, if I was to make this into a TikTok, like if this was actually my essay and then I was going to present it in short form video, and it would also sort of be the way that, like, it's sort of like your elevator pitch. If you're telling someone the gist of your essay in just a few seconds, how would you make that happen? Okay, so I'm hoping on this next slide that you're gonna get the volume as well as the video, because this is me doing my little Crane Wife TikTok. Is there enough here for them to survive? Okay, question, Allison. Talk about
mirror video. Okay. So right now, Ashley, the text on your t-shirt is backwards.
Yes. Okay, you can set your camera, if you record right within the native phone video app on iPhone, you can have it set in your settings that it doesn't mirror selfie video. Also, if you record it in Instagram, you could download it to your phone and then actually you can flip video right within your photos.
So what Ashley did with her imaginary, like if Ashley was CJ Hauser and Ashley wanted to do the Crane Wife as a video, she took some of the key concepts for the Crane from the Crane Wife, being dumped, going on a wildlife expedition. And here she's showing you what she might have picked out of that essay to talk about in a TikTok.
So Crane Wife originally was over 3,600 words. So when I went through it and read it again for this exercise, I just highlighted the sentences that punched me in the gut. Okay. We don't have a lot of time for setup and in between mini scenes in a video because it's condensed. Just like if we took a modern love essay and made it a tiny love story, we have to get to the point, to the point, to the point. We are going to talk about TikTok versus Reels. Yes. So I just pulled over those sentences that really grabbed me because you want to keep the emotional tension throughout if you're making a video of your content. And then as I started pulling them over, I realized after I'd read the whole piece, some just didn't pull me in as much. So then I brought it over, I made it about 300 words, then I cut it down to under 200 words, and that's what fit in 35 seconds.
Ashley, when you actually dictated that face-to-camera video, Suzette asks, were you using some kind of teleprompter? How were you keeping track of what you wanted to say while still making direct eye contact with the people watching your video?
Yes. Okay, I'm going to go back one slide so you can see I am saying one sentence at a time and then changing angle. Do you see that? Sorry, one sentence at a time. And then I switch. So in this case, I don't usually script my videos, but in this case, because I was using someone else's words and using this for a teaching demo, I wrote out each line here in the Word document when I cut it down to the final one. And then I just memorized, I have to say this one sentence. And then I set it to camera. And then I looked, okay, what's sentence number 2? And I turned, and doing those jump cuts where you go from one angle to another keeps the tempo of the video moving and it keeps people's interest. It also makes it feel more natural, almost like you're having a conversation with yourself, which makes the other person feel like they're conversing with you, the back and forth. And then you only have to remember one sentence at a time.
And it is a psychological thing where when there is a cut to a new angle, it feels like a new scene and it renews the attention of the people who are watching.
Yes. Okay. What if you are camera shy? Here are 5 kinds of videos that are not face to camera. Okay. So because we don't have audio in all of these, I may have to describe this as we're seeing it. This is a screen record, and in the follow-up email tomorrow, I can send the little demo tutorial that we've made for how to add screen record to your control center on an iPhone. Screen record is something that's built into every smartphone, but unless you have it placed in a certain place on your phone, you may not be able to find it easily.
And Ashley, we could hear you when you cranked up the volume on your own computer.
Wonderful. I'm going to crank here, and just give me this if you need me to turn it down, Allison. Okay.
Will do.
Okay. So for this next one, you can also share computer sound by clicking at the top. Okay. Do I have a recommendation on how long videos should be? 30 seconds. Yes, Jasmine, I have tutorials on making videos like this that we can link in the follow-up email. Okay, so this is me screen recording my list of podcasts I've guested on my website.
If you need something to listen to tonight, go to my link in bio. You can see all my podcasts in one place. Tell me what your favorite one is. Message me and tell me your favorite. The Quick and Dirty, Juicy Scoop with Heather McDonald, The Woo Woo Experience, 52 Love, the Jessica Heisman podcast, Young Honest Mother, the podcast, Bulb Chats, From Martyr to Magic, the Perfect Pet podcast.
So, and then I asked people as well, there was a call to action in there asking people to respond and tell me which one was their favorite. And I posted this in my stories and I tagged every one of those podcast people and just made their tags really small. And so a bunch of them shared it as well. And so views went up for a bunch of podcasts over that weekend because I shared that. So to do a voiceover on Reels is super easy. You can do it after the video. You can record the video at one time and then do voiceover at another time and save it to your camera roll. Yes, you will definitely, you'll be able to watch all of it. Yes. Okay, next one is just an image slideshow. Okay, this one is from Jamie McGillan, who's a historical fiction novelist, and her third book in her Rainier series is coming out 1 week, Jamie, right? 1 week. And this is a video she did about a woman from history from the Pacific Northwest. And it's really cool how she has the contrast between the old photos and more modern music.
So you guys can really see how she's bringing that interest both to the underlying topics of her book that are based in history, but she's also showing you these people as characters and using that modern pop music to tie in a modern feeling, which lets the audience understand the character a little bit more and makes them more excited about getting the book. And this is a great example of a novelist using video for their novel.
And yes, you can place text on an existing video. Absolutely. You can do that right within Instagram. Now, Instagram is one of the most counterintuitive pieces of technology ever invented, but it does have a lot of power within it to create content, even if you're not necessarily going to post it there.
And Brian asks about music rights issues. Brian, generally the music that Instagram allows you to use, which is in there, that's stuff that the rights are functional and working and you're good. And there's a ton of music in there.
And if you save it, Brian, if you save a piece of content you've made in Instagram to your phone, it will save without the audio. TikTok always saves with the audio, but it puts the TikTok watermark on there, because TikTok's agreement for licensing music allows for the downloading if it's indicated that it's a TikTok.
Yep. And we'll get a little bit more about moving stuff from one platform to another a couple of slides from now. Ashley, what's the next kind of video that's not a face-to-camera video?
Well, this one is a great one to do if you have any sort of project that is going to take a little bit of time and there's going to be some transformation. So using a time-lapse video or stop motion photography can be the way that you hold someone's interest, because there's a lot of activity that happens really quickly and tells your audience the story of a few hours in your life. And then you can add it, you can add whatever kind of soundtrack you want, really putting like something that is more lyrical and feeling with something that's very busy like this, gives it a nice balance. Stop motion, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So with stop motion, sort of. Like if you're doing an unboxing, or if you are putting together a gift basket, or you're like assembling something, just doing little clips so people can kind of come along for it. And they love it because they're like, I get to see a huge thing that's happening and it's being presented to me in 10 seconds.
And if you do anything that is a craft or cooking or assembly type of thing, like Stephanie does these really great cooking videos, and she says they are great for time lapse. I used to do coloring videos when I had time to color last year. It really can help to put your camera on like a unit of some kind so that it's over top of what you're doing. And the magic words you're looking for to search on the internet for what that thing is it's a boom. It's a camera boom or it's a mic boom, because it took me like 4 days to figure out what is this thing called so that I can search for it and purchase it. You can also just rig something up with clips, but make sure that you don't drop your phone in your soup.
Yep. I got a new one called like a gooseneck, and it holds my phone for me, and it clamps right to the table. I think it's like for reading at night, that you can have your device out in front of you, but I use it to set it up for video. Camera boom for cooking.
And fun little tip for the iPhone too, when you are holding your camera over a flat thing that you are filming, there's a yellow X and a white X. Line those two little pluses up, and when they are exactly on top of each other, your video is level. Rebecca asks, when making videos like a time lapse at a book signing, how do you go about getting permission from people to appear on camera? Post a sign saying you're on video? As it happens, there is a body of law that basically says if you are in public, you do not have an expectation of privacy. If you're in public and somebody photographs you, they can use your image. If somebody videotapes you, they can use your image. They can't use you to endorse a brand. They can't use you to say, this is something I know about this person's character, unless it's part of a reported journalistic news story. But as far as people just being present and shown, yes, you can show them. And yeah, Marisa, even children. You can't go videotape children at the playground, but if kids are moving through the background of your street scene, you can absolutely use that video.
And in this case, I had 2 store employees helping me with the book signing. And when I walked in and started getting set up, I said, I would love to take a time-lapse video of this. Is that okay with you? And they said, yeah, absolutely. And they helped me figure out a place. So I have a tripod with a small ring light. It's the ring light I'm using right now. Stephanie is showing hers. And then I just put my phone on there so that it was nice and steady for the time lapse. Time lapse is built in on the native camera app on iPhone. I don't have a favorite ring light. I have the first one I ever ordered, and
they're all basically the same.
It's never run out. If you look, there are actually 3 different colors of, look at my face. It's a little warmer. It's a little cooler. It's neutral. So, yeah. That said,
all. I turned on all the lamps in my hotel room light, and that's also working.
Right. Stop motion. I don't know if stop motion is built into the native app. I just do time lapse, and that's good enough for me. I think stop motion is more complicated, but I think someone said that their kids have an app called Stop Motion.
Yeah. And if you Google stop motion app, it will absolutely pop you up with lots of things. Mark asks, that woman wants to know if her bum looks fat in that dress, can she sue? Not us, because we would celebrate her glorious womanly body and be super excited to know her and to meet her as a human person. Ashley, what's our next kind of non-face to camera video?
This is a complete This is a complete cheat one. This is a still image with adding animation. Okay, so I do this in Instagram stories as well. You can add a sticker of someone else or a GIF of yourself. I also have demos for how to GIF yourself using Unscreen, and then how to add this from your camera roll to an Instagram story that you're making. And then you just save the video, and then it becomes an animation. So Instagram pushes it out like a video instead of like a still image.
And we will send you guys a link to that. And I will say, I just finally generated some GIFs of myself to use in this way a couple of weeks ago. And it was a little bit challenging to figure it all out. But then once I did it, I taped 12 reactions all in a row against the same white wall in 2 different colors of shirt so that I had a couple of outfits. I edited them all in a row. I stuck them all in my phone, and now they're very, very easy to use. And it's a really nice way when your book comes out or when other people are talking about your workshop or your webinar or your coaching services. It's really nice to be able to add that GIF of yourself so that you can repost their thing, but you're also present in their thing. You're going, wow, look at that thing, or thank you, I'm so glad you like it, or I'm so excited. And you look slightly crazed every time. Like, I don't know how Ashley manages to look kind of cool and collected. I always look crazed, but it works and people like it. And it does give your picture more traction in Instagram stories or even as an Instagram post.
And we have a question from Jennifer asking about not wanting to upgrade to a new phone. Can she use her computer for recording? From what I'm understanding, and I'm not super techie, I think even an old phone has a better camera than a new laptop.
Yep.
Yeah, so phones, even, back to like an iPhone 7 or SE is probably going to get you a better quality video. Here is one of the things you have to remember. When you make a video, wipe your phone off on your shirt before you film. Dirty phone is the most common error. I would say even more than poor lighting when you're filming a video. I would say go for like a south or a west facing window. Just get your phone, get natural light. I do not use a ring light for any of my videos. I do use it on Zoom, but not for any of my videos.
Yeah. And someone said they had trouble getting their background to swap out. If you're filming GIFs like that, use a background that is different than your skin color. So if you are a very pale person, put on a pale shirt and put yourself against a dark background. If you are a person with a darker skin tone, put on a darker shirt and put yourself in front of a very light background. I used a white background and I had a dark blue shirt and a bright pink shirt, and I have dark hair, and the background snapped out really nicely. Ashley, what's our last kind of not face to camera video?
Yeah, okay, so there are faces on this, but it's not you having to take a selfie video. This is when we edit from Zoom webinar or a TV spot. That is you on there in the interview or your book being spoken about.
Listen up. We often chat about pairing wine and food, but what about pairing bottles with books? Here with her tips is Natalie McLean, who offers Canada's most popular online wine classes at nataliemclean.com. Good morning, Natalie.
All right, we're going closer to home with this book. It's Swing by Ashley Reynard.
So this is Natalie McLean. She is one of my email list people, and I think she's here with us on the Writer's Bridge sometimes as well. And she is a wine expert, and she was pairing memoirs with wines. I did a screen record of this on her website, and then I popped it into iMovie and I cut it down so that it was less than 1 minute and just put those little fade transitions. I did this all on my phone. It took me maybe 5 minutes to screen record and get the good video. That I think I did 2 different lengths. I think I did one that was under 30 seconds and one that was 52 seconds, so I could post it in different places with the highlights. And then Natalie had me send this to her. I've done this for friends who have had interviews on CNN, and I've sent them the little like clip of themselves. So this is a really nice way that you can take content that's been somewhere else and just shorten it so that it fits into a reel or in your stories or on Facebook. That's great, Martina. I've never actually used any of their presets, but we use iMovie a lot for Writer's Bridge. Okay, now I want to talk about why face to camera works best. We have lots of options that are not face to camera, okay? Face to camera really does work best because then the audience gets to know you. And they get to know who you are and what you are going to give them. Because if they're presented with a video of yours that they like, then they're going to go to your profile and go, what is this person all about? Are they worth the follow? And worth the follow really means, am I going to get content like this consistently from this person because I like this content? Any tips on storing videos? I sync everything to iCloud and I pay for extra storage on iCloud. I pay for extra storage on iCloud and Dropbox and Google Drive because I don't like creating and then coming up against a barrier that says, you can't do that, storage full. So that really helps.
Ashley, do you tend to use Instagram's captions? Do you use TikTok's captions? How do you get the captions for something that you've recorded off of somebody else's website?
In that one, it actually already had captions built in because it was CTV, but we could do auto captions on Instagram. We could type in the captions ourselves. I do like captioning on Instagram better than TikTok. I think it looks better, and I think that it's easier to read.
Fantastic.
Okay. Now,
why should we show our face to camera?
Because you're going to get some good results. So this next video is from my client, Rachel Michaelberg. She's actually in the Zoom with us today. Her book Crash is about her husband's plane crash. Their marriage was already on shaky ground when her husband's plane crashed and he got he experienced a traumatic brain injury. And this is one of the videos that she and I put together to try to let more people know about her story.
My kids were little when their father, my husband, was involved in a plane crash. He suffered a severe, permanent brain injury. Many people around us felt that we should bring him home to be cared for, but I knew what was best for him and what was best for our children was not the same thing.
So this is something that was really hard for Rachel to live through because her tight Jewish family was like, of course you're going to bring him home. What do you mean you're not going to bring him home? And that is the struggle that she writes through in her memoir Crash. So this video, powerful honesty, right? And this video, Rachel had just over 200 followers when we started working together. And then this video has really, really taken off. It's right here. Over 351,000 views now. Rachel, it was probably a month ago that it was posted, and just over the past week. This is the thing about video, there's no shelf life for a video. It can gain traction and popularity at any time. And then look, all of Rachel's other videos have over 10,000 views now, and she's gained about 1,000 followers in the last 4 or 5 days since this video got traction. And that's the thing about video content. It's far more likely that an old video is going to get some new eyes on it and really start reaching more people than like an old quote card or a post. Just because every app is competing for eyeballs and attention. And Instagram and TikTok are almost like mini Netflixes where you can just binge and just stream videos all the time. So if someone sees your video and it seems to be of interest, then the app will push it out.
And this is one of the reasons why it's good for you to make a series of videos, even if you feel like nobody's listening, because it's entirely possible that maybe your first 10 videos, you get 5 views, you get 100 views, you get 500 views. Maybe the next 10 videos, you get 500 views, 700 views, 1,000 views. Then you get 50 videos later when you're almost sick to death of making videos, and all of a sudden you say something that goes big and hits people really where they live, and all of a sudden all of your video explodes. Rachel points out part 6 was the one that blew up. We had done 5 parts before that. And what you can do as a writer is make sure that you are delivering content via video that feels to you like it is an extension of your writing self. And that can be, let me show you my cool bike trip in the Netherlands, and I will narrate a little bit about windmills in the best sentences I can make in 35 seconds. Or that can be, let me talk about the historical research that went into my book and give you some of the high points of my life as an author. It doesn't have to be, oh, hey, look at me, I'm crazy, I'm wacky, I'm a personality, I'm funny. Do what you genuinely like to do that shows who you are and shows your writing to the world.
And Jasmine asks, are you using hashtags? And no, generally with video, for myself and for coaching clients, I don't bother very much with hashtags. You can try them, you can play around with them. You don't get specific info on the impact of the hashtags, which hashtags are working. And instead of researching hashtags, I would rather craft better videos and get more videos posted, even from clients too. I ask them, like, please, let's just like do part 1, 2, and 3 and see what happens. Like I need more data on what is what is pulling people in and what's not. And Rachel just said she was worried that her content was too heavy because she was comparing it to my quirky, funny content, but it worked. That's the thing. People don't need funny. They don't need sexy. They need something that resonates. So
Yeah.
if somebody has had trouble setting healthy boundaries and they know that they're putting their own health in jeopardy or the well-being of their kids in jeopardy because they're trying to fulfill another responsibility, I mean, that's why that video I think is resonating with people so much.
Ashley, did you craft these videos with Rachel, and did Rachel craft these videos so that each part stands alone, but then they're also a sequence? Yeah.
Exactly.
So you want your video to be watchable so that if 30 seconds is all the time somebody has to spend with you, what key message are you going to give them about your writing, your topic, your message, your overall point, your expertise? And then if they want to watch more, they'll get more.
And I think Rachel's followers went up so much because when she said part 6, people were like, oh my God, there's more help like this, you know? And Rachel's video doesn't even have a crazy number of shares. It's people that have watched it and it hits them in the gut and they come looking for more. That's what I think has really done it. Oh yeah, and Allison, yeah, one of the first lines we did in a video with Rachel was, I was falling in love with another man when my husband's plane was falling from the sky. And that's just like, you know, when you only have a few sentences, you need to make that hook. You need to have that hook pull people in really strong because you don't have much time and there's a lot of competition as well out there. Allison, thank you for that. That's okay. That's okay to misquote. I think we've used it different ways. Okay, so I have a bunch of things here. I have how to record a simple video, which I'm actually just going to send this to you in the replay. Also, one of the things that we have to remember, what I was just saying, is holding people's attention, editing tightly, like editing the half second on the beginning and the end of each clip so that you speak confidently. Then you speak confidently and there are no awkward pauses, gives the illusion of confidence. It puts your viewer more at ease because you are at ease sharing this information with them. And then it keeps their attention. Okay, I'm going to send you this video also on how to caption, but I will show you here how exactly to post to TikTok in the simplest way when you have your reels saved to your camera roll. I like to make all videos in Instagram Reels. Anecdotally, Instagram seems like the fussiest app for welcoming content that's not made on the native app. Like if you've made it in a different video editing something, it seems like Instagram knows that, like they're tracking the digital tags on it and suppresses it a little. So making it in Instagram, also they have the prettiest filters and the prettiest captions. So just make everything there, press the little down arrow, which will be on one of the demo videos, and then save it to your camera roll.
Yes, 200 words is around 35 seconds. And Suzette, there's not really a firm way to know if your audience is on TikTok in advance. It's kind of like, how do I write a bestseller? You got to write what you're going to write. You got to make the video you're going to make and then put it out there and see if anyone's paying attention, and your audience will come to you.
And Judith asked how Rachel and I started working together. Actually, I was doing just a free talk for Rachel's group of fellow authors. And afterwards, she contacted me and she said, I know you don't do any one-on-one coaching, but if you ever do, I'll be your first client. And that was my kick in the butt to finally, because for the past year, people have been asking me for one-on-one coaching and I just didn't know how to structure it. So finally got it going. Thank you to Rachel for that push. And it's going really well. So here we go, cross-posting to TikTok. And I'll put the link in the chat for anybody who wants to check out. My offerings are free or premium. So free here at the Writer's Bridge, or because I have a very focused, obsessive personality. So I want to be able to devote a lot of time to people if I'm working with them one-on-one. All right, here's a video of how to post to TikTok when you've already created a video in Instagram.
Video to TikTok. Go to your TikTok app. Tap the plus sign in the bottom of your screen. Then go to the bottom right-hand corner to get your camera roll. Select the video you would like to upload, then click Next.
Link button.
On the bottom left, you can choose
Link
music.
button.
Go to the search to type in the sound or music you would like to use. Usually there are a number of different lengths. Choosing the longest one will ensure that you're going to be able to get the clip that you want out of it. You'll be able to listen, then click the check mark if you want to use it. In TikTok, you have the option to change the volume of the original video and of the added audio. You
So
can-
Ashley, Meredith mentions that Instagram Reels doesn't save your music. Does Instagram save your voice if you download it to your camera?
Yes, it does. It will save your voiceover or your captions. It will not save licensed music. Also, I just put in here, and yes, cross post to YouTube Shorts. Absolutely. I cross post it to Snapchat and to Pinterest as well. Pinterest doesn't get me a huge amount of traction unless I do an ad there. But when I do an ad on Pinterest, it actually leads to a lot of book sales. Katie asked, who owns copyrights on Instagram?
You know, here's the thing. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, you give them the right to display your content, you still own your copyright. You always own your copyright. Copyright law in North America and around the world for all of the countries that signed the Berne Convention. The only exception right now is Mauritius. But your copyright is generally protected as long as you have created it in a fixed form, and an Instagram post counts as a fixed form. So you always still own your copyright. They can just display it.
Okay. And then we just go to post here. I'll make sure that this video comes in the replay tomorrow as well, because we have to get to our breakout rooms.
Exactly. And Mark also points out that it is sometimes hard to enforce copyright. It is, but for the vast majority of us, our enemy is not piracy. Our enemy is obscurity. It is far more valuable to have your content get out there, even though you may not be the primary controller of it every single time, than it is to keep your content to yourself for fear that, oh no, somebody's going to take my stuff and show it to people who then might like me and look at my stuff and go back and find it again. Your best protection against piracy is make something that is so unique to you that if anybody copies it, it just doesn't look right. So focus on yourself and your voice. We're going to go ahead and open up some breakout rooms. Welcome back from breakout rooms. It is so great to have you guys back. We are going to tell you about what's coming up next, and then we are also going to give you our very, very top tips before we break today. As always, you will get a link with the recording. If you are watching this in the recording, we're glad that you're enjoying the recording. Thanks for being with us too. And Suzette says, you're right, that wasn't weird. So glad that you guys enjoyed that. We want to let you know that our next episode in 2 weeks on November 9th, we are going to hit a little bit more about video. We're going to talk about content. So what do you actually put in these videos? We're going to give you a specific list of the kind of content that you could be using, some suggestions for post. We're also going to talk about process. What kind of apps and systems, what kind of workflow makes making video fun and easy and not a hideous chore that makes you feel like a technological idiot. We'll also talk a little bit about hiring assistants and subcontractors to help you with this kind of work. We have a couple of top tips before we break. Ashley, what is your top tip to take away with this?
If your inner downer, your inner critic says, but video won't work for me because of blank, we need to turn in the other direction and look for ways it will work. Because I believe that every single story worth telling will work in the medium of video as well. Figuring out what is best for your personality and what is best for your technological level of experience and all of those things, that is part of this art. But don't say no to video.
Exactly. I'm going to give you guys my 3 top tips about feeling okay about seeing your face on video. Tip number 1, hold your phone up high. Everybody looks better from above. When you see people younger than us taking selfies, they are almost always holding that sucker up high and looking up. It makes everything look better, even if it's just a little up. Tip number 2, use natural light as much as you can. Stand with your face near a window, stand outside, use that natural light. It makes it all look beautiful and fresh. And tip number 3, use some freaking filters. I like to smooth out my skin because I don't love caking on foundation, but I do love the look of having slightly better skin than I do in a video. I got my Zoom filter turned up. So use those because you don't have to just be completely raw on video, even though it is super charming and sweet and delightful if you are, and you will get a surprisingly good reaction. Some of Stephanie Weaver's biggest and best videos and biggest and best posts have been when Stephanie is honest about, this is my age, this is what I look like, this is what a woman of this age looks like, and that has been huge. Yeah, I really like the Lindsay Lane filters. I think they're really nice, and it can be really helpful to just look through other people's reels and see what filters they're using. Ashley, say something beautiful and inspirational to take us out.
I love you, beautiful people. Thank you for being here with us. You'll get a replay with a ton of demos tomorrow, and then dig into them as soon as that email comes so that you can play with them and let us know what questions you have for us for video part 2. Also, if you have thought and you're struggling, how could I put this on video? I will do 2 or 3 sample scripts for people, how I would think your video or your story could be presented well in video and bring people in. So just respond to the email, and I'll pick 2 or 3 of those for next episode.
Go ahead and unmute yourselves for a beautiful goodbye. We love you. Thank you for being here tonight. Have a great day.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
This was wonderful. Thank you.
Bye, Mimi. Bye, Rachel. Thanks for coming.